Robbie Lawler's lip. If you could have been in the octagon and saw this lip, okay, he would talk and this part of the lip would move and the other part wouldn't, right? What's his name nose was broken. They asked him when Rory got out back, they said, what year is it? He didn't know what year it was. You know what I mean? It was a complete display. First of all, it was a war and a complete display of chin, heart, grit, dogged determination, and the will to win from both guys. I mean, when you talk about fight, like I said, fight ever, that's what I'm talking about.
I can't argue with a lot of that. Now, you want to have the debate on how excited he should be that Rory MacDonald couldn't remember what year it was after the fight. We can have that discussion.
That's I would definitely like to have it,
Yeah.
but I don't know if now is the time. We got to pay the due respect to the fight that it is,
Absolutely.
the fight that the cards or the fights on the card as well, and give them respect. But I do wonder why, and it's a shift because we've talked to Dana White in previous incarnations several times. It's a shift and a selling point for Dana to say this guy didn't know what year it was, in a good term. Like he's selling it that way.
Yep.
Here's. We weren't allowed to show the GIF or the GIF or whatever the hell they call it, but we can tweet it out, put it on our Instagram, of Rory trying to regain his senses after the fight, and Big John McCarthy was behind him.
And a member of the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
This is from the MMA Junkie. Now remember, MMA Junkie is a website that covers the sport and only the sport. Watching this moment now feels like it's wandering into someone else's nightmare. Standing there, a spectator, horrified but captivated. His head wobbles like a newborn's. His body won't behave, and the only thing he can do is put a hand on the broken parts of his face, though there seems to be more broken face than there is hand. Like, this was difficult for me to watch back. I didn't watch it live.
Yeah.
I just saw Twitter blow up and said, oh, dear God, I've got to watch what happened.
Well, I mean, speaking of Twitter, let's take you through some of this. Dana White mentioned the lip of Robbie Lawler, the reigning welterweight champion. That's what it looked like. And it's funny because throughout the actual fight, they wouldn't go tight on it. But that's what his mouth looked like. Rory MacDonald's Twitter account. This is a shot of Rory before the final round. That's not doctored in any way other than the font. So you want to be a fighter. That's what he looked like after they worked on him for 60 seconds.
But notice what it said there. It said it was the best time of my life, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is hospital. Both guys went to the hospital, not a shock.
No.
And that's the picture that was flying around social media afterwards. Then Rory MacDonald tweeted out the next morning how he looked. And broken nose, broken foot, but I will be back. And I got to tell you, Tim, I can't believe the performance that this young Canadian put in Vegas. And he almost pulled it off. Tim, he had him for a moment in the fourth round.
Yeah.
He almost won the fight. And it was absolutely incredible.
Am I wrong to be concerned? Like, we always talk about concussions in football and hockey and how to protect all of these guys. And I want to give him his respect. We've had him on the show. I like him. He's a quiet assassin, and I'm scared of him. But should we be concerned about his well-being?
Yes.
Or should we just say because, like, part of me is it's real uncomfortable to watch. Someone needs to step in and help him, seeing as the promoter of the fight is out there going, and that guy didn't even know what year it was.
What's his name? Didn't know what year.
Yeah, what's his name?
What's his name?
He just fought for the title. He calls him what's his name and says he didn't even know what year it was in an attempt to say what a great fight it was. He made $59,000 for the fight, and because they both kicked the bleep out of each other, he got another $50,000. And apparently, if a tweet that we got earlier today is true, he flew Coach home because that's what the UFC provides him. He just got his rear end kicked, and this was tweeted out by a guy by the name of Ken Udenkirk. Hey, Dana White, pay-per-view fighters should get first-class airfare included in their contracts. Rory MacDonald and Coach isn't right. And it's a shot of Rory MacDonald, bruised, battered, and scarred, but apparently hard. Because he's just standing there and Coach taking a picture with some dude after that.
At the minimum, Dana should put him on that jet that he owns.
Right. That he
I'm not kidding.
I know.
It's like a taxi for him. Like give him a lift.
Like here's the part of me. I think that these are grown men, and I've talked to Rory MacDonald. He seems like an intelligent young man. He's quite capable of making the decision on whether or not he's going to go in that ring knowing full well how he could come out of it. And he said it was the best time of his life. So am I wrong to be concerned for him like others are? Or should we step in? Because sometimes you have to, like, I mean, football players say it all the time. Yeah. Don't worry about it, I'm fine. Now we have independent neurologists standing on the sidelines.
You can't argue with me that years weren't taken off that kid's life Saturday night. There is no way that's not the case.
But here I look at the contrast, and even you, where you're like,
just for the act, I had to give it up. Like, that's
no, I know it's tough.
He broke his nose in the first round, Tim, and he kept coming. It was I've never seen anything like it.
And he has a broken foot too, apparently.
Yeah, apparently broken foot too. Listen, should we be concerned for him? Absolutely. I'm not going to mock you for that. Some people might. I'm not going to mock you for that.
Right. I'm soft here. You know what else? Sorry, go ahead. I stopped you.
No.
Go ahead. What also bugs me is just that a lot of the same people who are like, yeah, and then calling me soft, I feel like have never been punched in the face before. There's a lot of people watching that who aren't like, this is unbelievable technical ability like these. And there was technical parts of this fight, right? Like
Absolutely.
This fight had a little bit of everything, and that's why it was so good, because there was, everything in it. Every martial art that you study for it to be mixed martial arts was in this. But a lot of people just saw blood and were like, yeah, let's get it on.
Yeah, they're out there.
Right.
Those people are out there. I don't believe I'm that person. I believe I watched that for the competition to see who's going to win a title.